Today's lesson is Lesson 13, Mediterranean Farms. The Mediterranean Sea borders 3 continents. The southern shore is on the African soil, the northern on European, and the eastern shore borders Asia. On the western side of the sea, the Strait of Gibraltar separates the countries of Spain and Morocco and opens into the vast Atlantic Ocean. Many ancient civilizations developed along these shores, from the Egyptian dynasties to ancient Greece, from the shores of Phoenicia to the Roman Empire. The Mediterranean is often considered the cradle of Western civilization, and its waters were used as international trade routes long before global trade was as easy as it is today. The nationals that border the Mediterranean Sea are unique and diverse as the sea life found beneath the waves. However, most of the nations have several things in common in the way they approach food. The Mediterranean diet is praised as one of the healthiest diets in the world. It emphasizes on fresh ingredients combined with healthy fats and moderate consumption of processed food, makes it much healthier than the diet that is typically consumed in the Western world. Some of the foods that are heavily featured in the Mediterranean diet include olives, grapes, nuts, figs, dates, fresh fruits, veggies, whole grains, and fish. The climate in this area is perfectly suited to grow these healthy and diverse foods to nourish the population. Growing Mediterranean fruits. Olives are perhaps the most well-known food included in the Mediterranean diet. These unique fruits are grown on trees and contribute to a whole host of health benefits to the people who consume them. Olives belong to the group of fruits called drupes, which includes familiar sweet fruits like peaches, plums, and cherries. The olive tree is an evergreen. Unlike many other trees which bear drupes, olive trees thrive in Mediterranean climates. The long, hot summers and mild winters are perfect for growing olive trees. These famous trees can grow to be 40 feet tall and live to be thousands of years old. There is evidence to suggest that some people groups cultivate olives over 5,000 years ago. New olive trees do not produce fruit until they are about 4 to 8 years old. However, their full production potential is not reached until they are closer to 20 years old. Like many fruit trees, olive trees must be pruned. The fruit of an olive tree grows on a branch growth that occurs the previous year, so it is important for the caretaker of an olive tree to pay attention to what they are pruning back. If they cut off all the growth from the previous year, there'll be no olives this year. If they cut off all the new growth, there will be no olives next year. Pruning on olive trees is important for both its production and for ease of harvesting the fruit. Figs are another important fruit that are grown in the Mediterranean region. The sweet fruit is a significant part of the diet of many Mediterranean nations. Interestingly, figs have been referred to as both the fruit of the poor man, but also as a symbol of prosperity. The fruit of a fig tree is called ciconia. This delightful fruit contains significant sources of several important nutrients, like calcium, iron, potassium. Potassium is known to help your muscles, nerves, and heart function. Fig trees can be small or large, ranging in size from the tallest at 39 feet to a small bush just 3 feet. Many types of figs are grown around the world under different names, so they appear to be many varieties of figs than there actually is. Mediterranean farmers successfully grow figs with little intervention. Fig trees do not require intensive irrigation or even regular pruning. Once they begin to produce well, they only need pruning to remove dead branches as the years go on. Grapes are an important part of the Mediterranean culture. Vineyards are a common sight in many countries. that border the beautiful sea. When you think of grapes, you probably think of a kind of table grape that you find in the produce section of your grocery store. But the largest majority of grapes grown in the Mediterranean are used to make wine. Do you remember the story of Jesus and his first miracle at the wedding of Canaan? Here you can see that wine has been an important part of Mediterranean culture for a long time. All grapes are grown in a vineyard, but each type of grape has a specific purpose. Wine grapes have a thick skin and a high sugar content that make them ideal for the fermentation process. Seedless grapes have been bred to produce flesh that is free of the bitter seeds inside to make them easier to eat. Seeded table grapes are often sweeter than seedless cousins, but they have the additional irritation of biting into seeds that have a bitter taste, swallowing those seeds or spitting them out. Grapevines must also be properly pruned, so they produce new growth each year. These plants need to be pruned and trained to grow on their supporters in the direction the vine dresser desires them to grow. If a branch is pruned off the vine, that branch will die. Jesus used grapevines to describe our relationship with him. In John 15, Jesus tells his followers that he is the vine and his followers are the branches. If a branch bears no fruit, the Father will cut off that branch because it is fruitless. If a branch bears fruit, the Father will prune it. Pruning a vine produces scars and requires the wood to heal, but when pruned by an expert vineyard dresser, it increases the productivity of the vine. Jesus' followers were encouraged to remain connected to him, like a branch must stay connected to the vine in order to bear fruit. Storage and processing. Olives do not have the typical sweet, juicy texture you probably associate with fruit. They are actually quite bitter when they are first picked from the tree. Only fully ripe olives are used in the production of olive oil. These fruits are picked and processed quickly to ensure that the first extraction that produces extra virgin oil makes the highest quality oil possible. Extra virgin olive oil is produced with no heat or chemicals. Once the first pressing is complete, the pulp from the fruit goes through further processing in order to make lower quality oils. Olives that are destined for food and not oil must have the bitter compounds removed from them before they can be eaten. They go through a curing process that is to accomplish this. There are various methods of curing olives, including using a dry salt treatment, soaking them in brine or water, and using a fully diluted solution of lye, the highly alkaline subject used to make soap. Each of these methods have unique features. Water curing is one of the fastest methods, but the olives retain a more bitter flavor this way than the other methods. Salt curing produces olives that are slightly dried and very salty, while lye-cured olives are the least bitter, brining olives in a similar process to naturally fermented pickles. Once the olives are cured, they can be dried, canned, or served in oil or brine. Our hot button topic is olive oil is a popular oil used for cooking and drizzling on foods. Pure extra virgin olive oil is made by simply crushing ripe olives and separating the oil from the crushed fruit. Olive oil made this way has properties that help to lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and lower blood pressure. It has been called a superfood that is capable of helping your body protect itself from damaging that can be caused by the environment you live in. Olive oil is known for its high price tag, but in recent years the prices for this precious oil have appeared to drop. While this might look like a good thing on the surface, there is a dark reason behind it. According to many studies and researches, over 50% of the olive oil marketed as pure and extra virgin Italian olive oil is tampered with in some way. It appears that there are illegal operations that either dilute olive oil with oils that are cheaper and lower quality, or even use coloring and flavoring to disguise completely different oils as olive. This has become a challenge for the Italian producers of quality oils to maintain their reputation, integrity, and even their sales. They cannot compete with oils that are priced well below what it costs them to produce. As a result, pure extra virgin olive oil is becoming increasingly hard to find on grocery shelves around the world. Grapes are delicious, eaten fresh as a sweet, juicy treat. However, many of the grapes grown around the world are produced specifically for making wine. Wine is a drink that is made by crushing grapes and allowing them to ferment. Traditionally, wines are fermented with wild yeast that lives in the air all around. Today, many wineries add commercially prepared yeast to help them achieve a consistent product. Different kinds of grapes are used to make different kinds of wine, and each type of wine has its own process. Red wines are made by crushing and fermenting the grapes with their skins left on so that the natural tannin from the grape skins give the red wine an earthy taste. With a white wine is being made, the skins are removed, resulting in more fruity flavors and a clear wine. Rose wine is made with the skins are left on and the grapes for a short period of time to introduce some color into the wine without the tannin flavor. To the table. Olives are featured in many Mediterranean meals, from Greek salad to a bowl of oil and balsamic vinegar for dipping bread. Olives are an important part of Mediterranean cuisine. Processed olives are often served in oil or brine as a side dish or used as an ingredient in a recipe. In many places, olive oil is used for baking and cooking. It is a healthy alternative to other more processed oils. However, it truly shines when it is used raw. Eating raw, extra virgin olive oil ensures that you receive all the healthy benefits the oil has to offer. In Mediterranean cooking, you will often encounter olive oil drizzled on pastas, salads, or appetizers, and used as a dip for various breads. There are so many ways to enjoy the benefit of olives. Figs can be eaten fresh or dried. The fresh flesh of a fig is almost like jelly. It is not juicy in the same way that some fruits are, but is extremely sweet and pulpy. Figs do not keep well for very long after they are picked, so many figs are dried to preserve them. Their intense natural sweetness makes them a favorite snack among the Mediterranean people. Hands-on activity. Find recipes to make an entire Greek meal, or find recipes from another Mediterranean country and make your favorite Mediterranean food. You could also try something totally new. This includes Lesson 13 for today.